Hello everyone, welcome to the Best Company Podcast. I'm Justin Ashby, and with me today is Coulton Main from Solo. So we're excited to be talking to him. Again, this is the Best Company Podcast where we talk with business owners, operators, marketing professionals, a number of people in a number of fields about how to grow their business and build their reputation. So Coulton, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, Justin, thanks for having me on here. Looking forward to keep riffing with you. The webinar was super fun, so stoked to do this with you, dude.
Yeah, that's right. Coulton mentioned we did a webinar with Solo and Job Nimbus, kind of two other big powerhouses, specifically in the solar space and roofing for Job Nimbus, and it was a great discussion. We kind of covered the customer journey from beginning to end that a lot of these businesses are trying to craft for their customers. So it was great talking with them, and each company kind of demonstrated their tools at specific steps of the process, and I thought it came off really well. We had great responses from everyone that was able to join and watch the podcast. So Coulton, thanks for joining us for that. Now, real quick about Coulton, he is the Senior Manager of Business Development and Strategic Partnerships at Solo, and I'll let Coulton kind of walk through what Solo is specifically. But just as other information about him, he's an experienced co-founder and VP over the last 10 years in the renewable energy industry and 4 years specifically in the tech space. So he's very skilled in operations management, sales, team building, leadership. Great guy to know. So it's been fun getting to know Coulton a little bit more over these last few months. But kind of to get things going, Coulton, first I'd like you to talk a little bit about Solo. And then in the webinar, I was really fascinated when you brought up this concept of a proposal. So a lot of times, if you're listening in the solar space or even roofing or any other industry where you're having to give a bid or you're having to kind of provide some information before, setting up an install, a new deal, whatever the terminology is. There's this spot that Coulton kind of recommended of really fine-tuning the proposal. And so, Coulton, why don't you give us a little bit about Solo and then elaborate a little bit on what exactly the opportunity is with a really fine-tuned proposal.
Yeah, happy to do it. So, Solo's been around for a little over 5.5 years now, and really came into the solar industry first and foremost, fixing a long and painful sales process for homeowners trying to purchase residential solar. I mean, this was hours and hours of presenting and designing and very strenuous type things that the salespeople had to go through. Keep your homeowners along for that journey, and then say they wanted to finance the project. Okay, perfect. We'll get that taken care of in a couple weeks from now. We'll know if the bank is cool with it, right? So Solo came together, and the team there really have really cleaned up and streamlined that process. We're bringing that same thing into the roofing industry, which is super exciting. We're all really jazzed about that. But ultimately, we've created software tools that remove all of the delays that come together with, where do the modules place, what solar panels do we still have available, what loan products can we use. All that stuff is all built in. And carrying that over to roofing too. You don't have to get up on the roof and take measurements. You can almost instantly have everything you need to present to a homeowner, take them through that journey in a really smooth way. Part of generating solar and roofing bids is getting information on the home. For solar, it's where do we put these solar panels on each house. For roofing, it has to do with how many squares and what size, and are there obstructions, and things like that I need to consider as a salesperson. So Solo is taking all of that on, and our team and software is creating all of those designs for you. There is a short time period, about 10 minutes or less, when that is being computed in our system. And so we've created a content area called the proposal. So right when you are beginning that journey with the homeowner, you'll send over the information, and instantly you have a company-specific and industry-specific proposal where you can start going through some of the information, whether you're educating on solar or just really riffing about your company and all the benefits that you are going to bring to that prospective customer. You have all that information in a very clean, powerful presentation. And then as soon as you get through that, You have amazing rapport. The customer is feeling great about what they've learned so far, and you just transition that right into the actual proposal where you get into the specifics that they're really going to be purchasing.
That, in my mind, that's probably the best opportunity for a, whatever that role is that goes and talks with the customer, salesperson, account executive, whatever industry you're in. That's probably the opportunity to really position themselves as the educator, right? With that proposal. I mean, we get feedback constantly from customers that, if they aren't feeling like they're getting educated by this sales rep that they're working with, it's a much harder deal to close. So that's essentially what the proposal is helping with, right?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, we all go about our normal consumer journey, right? And we're buying stuff all the time. And it's either based on the best product that's out there, the best price, but really it's the expert that's behind what you're buying, and that's in any product. So, you look at Apple and the iPhone, and just by checking that out, you're like, man, these guys really know what they're doing. So having the proposal and getting some of that rapport built is just making you the expert, and the tools really empower salespeople with any type of knowledge about that product as well. We have lots of customers that are in the roofing space and just completely crushing it, and they want to start adding solar. They come and start working with Solo, and the tools are set up in a way that their roofing salespeople are super empowered by using the Solo products. So you come with sales prowess, and you can really flourish by using those Solo tools.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it makes sense that a lot of times, companies don't understand that price sensitivity is it's important, but at the end of the day, like a convincing proposal or really educating the customer will actually influence that sale much more than the competitive price. For instance, that rapport that you build, the information that a salesperson can really share, that really creates a huge influence. So that's great to hear as well, Coulton, that Solo is thinking about the roofing industry. Obviously, there's a number of companies that maybe want to add solar as another option to offer their clients, and they can. You're saying that they can pretty quickly scale that up with using Solo software.
Yeah, absolutely, and that goes from solar guys wanting to get into roofing or roofing getting into solar, and there's more and more overlap, right? Those two industries are just coming closer and closer together, and we feel like the Solo tools are really bringing them together in a much easier way.
How much?
Go
ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, how much do those tools do you feel like really make or break? Because I mean, so much of this, you're taking care of operations, you're taking care of some of the technicalities and things like that. Have you seen, have you worked with groups that claim, hey, before Solo or, before utilizing these tools, here's the difference that it's making in us? Like, what have you seen kind of some of your customers saying and talking about?
Awesome. Yeah, that's a perfect question. So, really, going back to building rapport and tool structure and things like that, you becoming the expert and what these consumers are going to carry forward throughout the experience with you has to do a lot with what you're using as well. And tools like Best Company and how they're seeing reviews and learning about your company before you ever speak to them, that's really where you have that expert level and these different touch points throughout. And people have really started to see that and actually have, material differences in their closing percentages. We are kind of tucked into the bid space, especially in solar, but we're really focused on sales enablement and conversion. And a lot of our companies that come over from other tools really see that material difference in increased closing percentages. Speed is a big part of what we deliver, as well as quality and accuracy too. So companies can come over and their sales reps are instantly being able to present to more customers, right? If you're sitting with more customers, then you're going to be able to sell more deals. But really, the enablement pieces inside of our tools help increase that conversion too. It's really just removing friction and you have this beautiful tool that you're using where it just instills more and more confidence and rapport with each homeowner.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you know, when you think about like an ROI calculator, if it's influencing the close rates, I mean, you can really back out of it and say, wow, like this, you know, it pays for itself most likely. And that's when you look at the stack of tools that your company uses. I mean, that's really an assessment tool, right? Is like, well, what's the ROI? Something and the same goes. You mentioned touch points. I mean, if you aren't crafting every single touch point that your customer is going with, and there's most likely a number of tools that can help you augment or level up each one of those touch points, you really need to dive in and analyze those and make sure you're offering the best customer experience. Another reason, you know, Coulton, that we've seen and we've been building products around is getting referrals as well. I mean, this, you know, the experience getting a massive boost thanks to Solo Software, Best Company, Job Nimbus, other groups out there. If that is all crafted really, really well, the likelihood for a referral increases dramatically too. So you're increasing close rate, you're increasing the likelihood for a referral, which, you know, we can go into all the acronyms, the lifetime value. I mean, it increases the value of each one of those deals, those installs, you know, whatever it's called. So that's been great. Coulton, what, you know, when we talk about solar specifically and, you know, and the customer experience and everything, what do you see maybe in the next few years as like trends, you know, different things that you see in your space, maybe something that Solo has identified that, you know, especially people in the solar industry, roofing industry, or maybe just kind of that home services space. Are you guys seeing any trends or anything that you feel like is worth mentioning, sharing, just so these, you know, these companies, these viewers can kind of get ready for it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest trends, you know, we're just talking about, you know, data, right? There's data out there to put you to sleep if you have a hard time. You know, there's tons of places.
Data. All right. Skip ahead.
Right?
Skip ahead.
Yeah,
no, this data's, no, go ahead.
Yeah. But one of the trends, right? Residential solar, you know, around 3 to 4% of U.S. homes have solar. Okay. And 2021 was the biggest year for residential solar installs. But we are extremely far behind the number of new homes that are being built each year. So even though we're around 3 to 4%, if we don't have another record year in solar deployment in residential, that gap is going to continue growing.
Yeah.
And that's really something about this industry that's super powerful, because we're building way more homes than we are putting solar on. So we're adding, you know, 4 or 5 times more energy needs every single year with new home builds. So the solar industry is around, you know, the technology, you know, 40, 50 plus years old, but the opportunity in that space is massive, and it's not slowing down, right? You'll hear about more solar companies out there, but we're just barely scratching the surface on, you know, on the TAM for residential solar. That is something that just continues growing. So if you're not in the solar space now, say you're in roofing and kind of thinking about it and dabbling in, maybe you're kind of worried, what's the longevity here of this type of industry? That data point there is something that just, you know, sings longevity, right? Only about 3 to 4% of current U.S. homes, but we're not even close to keeping up with new home construction. So that's something really cool as far as data goes, which makes solar, you know, kind of exciting.
Yeah. I mean, to put it into perspective for me, you know, you mentioned earlier like iPhones. I mean, iPhones have spread, you know, over the 10 plus years, 15 years, however many years it's been around, and as the population increases, iPhone continues to grow with how many people are using it. But there's that slot that you mentioned with solar. It's like, instead of population increase, we're talking homes being built, maybe outpacing still to this day how much solar. So it's just amazing, the opportunity there and the growth opportunity. And so for any roofing groups that are listening, it really does sound like a huge opportunity to also add that to your suite of services, right? To be able to install solar and vice versa. That's really interesting. Well, Coulton, this has been a great discussion. You know, parting thoughts, is there anything that you feel like, you know, for an owner-operator, maybe somebody in an operations role or even a marketing role, in any one of those categories, solar, roofing, or home services. Any parting thoughts and how to level up that customer journey? Anything that you've seen kind of in your career as an opportunity for them to really level up their customer experience?
Yeah, I think just really taking a look at your current tech stack, your current customer journey, how people are finding you, how they're interacting passively with your business, right, or indirectly. E-commerce and how your company is displayed on its own is super important. That is such a massive influence on buyer personas and how people are purchasing things outside of solar or roofing, right? And so just thinking of the day-to-day things and how you go through and purchase your own things here and there, just focus on some of those things and seeing if what you have in place right now is bringing a similar experience. Because there are super powerful tools that are going to level up your indirect or passive presentation of your organization, especially online, right? And that's where you and your team make that super powerful. The touch points and how they're structured, pre-sale, during the sale, and post-sale, that's where these tools should have this similar look and feel the whole time. And it's really just going to add so much to what your organization is doing. And like you said, I mean, we can talk about how easy a referral sale and how much revenue there is in referrals. I mean, they just come over and ready to sign up, right? So imagine you have your tech stack set up in a way where that is happening to someone who's never seen you before. You have this beautiful presentation of what you offer to the consumer. Your sales process has that same flow, and then post install or post sale, you have similar tools that are just empowering your company to generate more business. That's just such a massive part. So that'd be my only closing rant. You know?
No, that was great. I mean, take a look at your tech stack. Take a look at all your touch points. What are you doing to level up each of those? I would also add, we see a lot of trends for those of you that are listening that run ads. It's a challenge. I mean, we run ads at Best Company, and just recently, whether it's macro influences, inflation, it's becoming more and more challenging to run ads and have that return on investment. And so we have been building products around referrals. We've been building products around other ways to get business and to grow. And when you look at that customer journey and each touch point, you can build your own referral program. You can build your own proposal tool. The reality is, though, there's companies like Solo, Best Company, Job Nimbus. There's ones out there. The reason they exist, there's a reason they have a fairly large customer base, is because they really are helping level up the customers that are subscribing to their services. And so it's something to look at and consider for your business, right? I mean, if you can create your own referral program, you can create these tools, but if you can also find something that fits your system and it gives you more time elsewhere, it can just really help you level up every step, and that customer experience, as it gets better and better, can also help you get more referrals, better referrals. So there's a whole process there. So I'm glad you brought that up, Coulton, of just really honing in on each touch point and finding a solution that fits there. So, all right, well, Coulton, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We love doing this podcast to our customers and helping them kind of find out more tools that are out there, and then obviously talking with other business owners about what they're doing to kind of level up their business in their market. So, Coulton, we sure appreciate you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. It was a blast.
All right, we'll see you later.
See you, man.